Hi everybody, this is Nikki and I'm here to do a video that is, and I'm going to emphasize at this time, personal experience, personal exploration, absolutely no medical advice whatsoever. And I'm saying it all slow like that because I really mean it this time, because I'm kind of getting off the beaten path into something I've heard which I'm excited about trying out, but I'm not sure yet how reliable it is. So I am doing a video about mini glucagon shots, and I brought my little kit so I can go ahead and mix it. And the only reason I'm hopping in here today, post exercise, no shower, is because I want to mix this up so that I have it available tonight, so I can do a mini shot if I need to. And I figured as long as I was going to mix it, since I've been posting about it in the group, I would go ahead and make the video and do it like this. Anyway, so the first thing I want to emphasize that this is not the glucagon process or procedure for a severe hypoglycemic episode. I am not talking about what somebody would use this for, like if you were passing out or passed out or whatever. This is a completely different thing. This is for low blood sugar, and I was trying to think of the kind of scenarios where I might be tempted to use it, and this is where I can administer it to myself. Maybe I'm trending a little bit low after some exercise. I am not critically low. I am not in any kind of danger of bottoming out or anything else. Maybe I keep trending low, and I've already had all the carbs I want to eat, or I've just eaten dinner. This happens to me all the time. I've just eaten dinner and now I'm low, and I really don't want to eat anything else. So a mini glucagon shot might be appropriate. These are scenarios where it's just not ideal to have more carbs, and so it's an alternative. This is not supposed to be an emergency situation, so I do want to make that clear. And I brought my notes so I don't mess this up. Okay. The main reason why I have not been able to really use mini glucagon shots to date is because there is a supposed expiration date of 24 to 48 hours. And again, I'm talking about the Lilly kits. Once these are not shelf stable, so once you mix them, they're put on a timer basically. So you have about 48 hours, if that, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, where you can use this and it will raise your blood sugar. They're too expensive for me to mix one up and then maybe not have the opportunity to use it for 48 hours. So maybe I get to use 10 units of it and then I drop it in the trash. It's just not very practical. It's also not very practical for me to be worrying about mixing it when I'm low. It's kind of like mine have been sitting on my shelf forever, and that is really because there's not been a great time ever for me to use them, and my family doesn't know how to use them, so I've been collecting them, which brings me to the next thing I do want to make sure I say. I have been told, it is now my understanding, that these kits do not expire. Again, assuming you've kept them in a reasonable, environment. But because of that, I've hung on to them. And if somebody has been dumping theirs, I've gladly accepted them. So I do have some kits lying around. And I do plan on mixing a couple of them up and seeing about this expiration date. If the true expiration date is 24 to 48 hours, as much as I like the glucagon, I probably just can't do it because that's just not very practical. What I have learned, and this is what the video is about, what I've learned recently from a group, it was a type 1 diabetes athletes group, I think, and there was another mother in there who was talking about her daughter, and somebody had asked a question about what are ways that I can raise my blood sugar that don't require calories. And everybody was given the standard stuff. Well, you have to, and the tablets and you can try sugar water and whatever. And then there was one mom in there who said, my daughter does mini glucagon shots. And she wrote in the post, she said, we just mix it up and leave it by her bedside for up to a week or two. And when I read that, I said, okay, that's really different, because I was under the assumption that this was only good for 24 to 48 hours, but a week or two bedside, or a week or two on my, in my bag or whatever, that's a really different thing. And that means that I don't have to wait until I'm low. I don't have to decide whether or not I should, if this is a good time to use it. I can go ahead and mix it, and if I want a couple of units, I can do it. It changed the whole game. So I did go ahead, based on what she said. She also mentioned that if it were kept at room temperature, it was good for a week or two. If you mixed it and put it back in the fridge, it was good for a month or two. And I was like, that's just really cool. So it's definitely worth, it's glucagon. I've done glucagon mini shots. It's definitely worth trying to test out to see whether or not that expiration that she's mentioning is good. She also said this was something that her daughter's pediatric endocrinologist had passed on to them. So again, it's all hearsay, but it was, according to her, something that a medical doctor, her endocrinologist, had told them, and that they had been doing this for years. Her daughter was either a field hockey player or a softball player or something like that. So her daughter would do this during games. I have no intention to do this during exercise, but I'm very happy to do it when I'm at home, and I would like not to have to go in and start eating stuff, because for me that oftentimes initiates the shameful eating that I didn't need, didn't want, and now I'm mad because I'm eating and I hate my diabetes and blah, blah, blah. So I have tried a couple times the mini glucagon shots. This was new information. I was thrilled. I did mix up the first batch last week, and although it was kind of it was inconclusive, I will say that I did shots between 4 and 6 days after I had shaken the bottle. Then I spilled it. But I'd done shots between 4 and 6 days, and a couple of the days my blood sugar didn't rise, but it also didn't fall, and I knew I was falling at the time, so it seemed to just kind of stop and then hold steady. And then on the very last day, it rose very predictably about 30 points, about 30 mg/dL, milligrams per deciliter, and that was the glucagon. So that was 6 days. I'm pretty sure that was the glucagon. That was 6 days after I had done it. So it was not enough to say that the glucagon hadn't weakened, which is what happens, past expiration. But it was definitely enough for me to say I'm mixing it up tonight. And so I will try to get to this really quick because I'm 7 minutes in. So I'll mix it and then I'll go back and I'll answer. There's somebody in my group who had some great questions, and I'll see if I can answer any of them. I'll have to talk really, really fast. Okay, so I'm opening my kit and I'm doing this. There's a million YouTube videos, I think, on how to mix this stuff. Again, this is not for an emergency. The instructions are in there, so they're easy enough to follow. I've already removed my little top because I was nervous about whether or not I was going to do this for the video. And if you can see inside, there's a dry pellet. And then this is my solution. So in theory, what I've been told, according to what I've always been told, once I inject the solution into the vial and I, shake it up, it's good for 24 to 48 hours, and then I got to drop it in the trash. According to Mom from Diabetes Group, this is pretty weak, whatever, but according to her and what they've been doing for a couple of years, you can mix it up, you can put it to the side, and then this is where I keep my my syringes so that I can do small doses. Okay, so I pop the top. Insert it. Push my liquid in, my solution. Okay, I'll just drop on my trash. And then it says to swirl it, so I'll swirl it. I am not gonna use any of it right now. I'm gonna make sure that it's, I'll just do this while I go on to the questions. I do wanna make sure it's completely dissolved and that it's ready to go. And I will say that this has just expired in April of this year. But I do have stuff down there from 4 or 5 or 6 or 8 years ago. So I'm, that's why this is not medical advice. I can't be sure of any of it. It's already 9 minutes in, so this will do. I'll set this to the side, and I will come back and I'll let you guys know how it went. My plan is to leave this by the bedside. I might need some of it tonight. I went for an 18-mile bike ride at 5 o'clock at night, so I'm probably gonna have a reason to use it tonight. I'm really hoping to let it sit there at least for 3 or 4 days and then try to use it in a couple days. Okay. Bertrick Karsten in my group asked some really good questions today. I don't know if I know the answers, but I'll tell you what I know about them. Okay, so we were talking about this and the expiration, the kind of the new information. He asked, is it stable longer than 24 to 48 hours? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out right now. And after last week, my guess is that maybe it is. I did not feel like I did 5 or 6 or whatever shots last week that didn't do anything at all. It just wasn't quite as predictable as what I would have thought for a real rise. But that's also my diabetes. There's lots that's not really all that predictable. So it's enough that I'm doing this week. What doses did you give yourself when having a 50? That's a tricky question. Is it a 50 because it's been a low, slow drop? Is it a 50 because I'm falling really fast? My guess is, in general, I'm going to be starting between a 10 and 15 unit dose. That's probably going to be for about a 70. And the only reason I would start higher with the glucagon is because what I would like to do is avoid having to eat if I don't want to eat. If it's dinner time, great. If I can start and get the glucagon on a little bit earlier, then maybe I have more say in what I eat rather than, once I'm dropping and then I have to start putting food in my mouth. I think that if I'm a 50 and falling faster, I'd probably go with a 20 unit dose. That's my guess. I'll mess around with those things this week. Was it faster than glucose tablets? Excellent question. It's been a really long time since I've used glucose tablets. I have a lot of them. They are probably all expired. I don't have any idea. They probably taste less, good than they taste anyway. I don't know. I have a wide variety of things I treat with. Tablets haven't been one for a long time, but I will try that out this week too. And I will say, because your next question was, did the hypo feeling vanish immediately after 10 minutes? I had mentioned that that there was like a kind of lifting of the hypo veil, and I was crazy about the feeling. It was really nice. I could feel all of the symptoms of the crash coming, which I sometimes get a little panicky. Maybe it's tired, maybe I'm starting to get overwhelmed or whatever. It's part physical, part mental. And I could feel it coming in, and then I could just feel like a fog. I could just feel it go right back out again. That did take 5 to 10 minutes, and that was consistently every time I took the shot last week. That's what I felt. I have no idea what to expect this week, or if that was my diabetes last week. And I do agree that hypo feeling stays, you say, for 30 to 60 minutes. I do agree that sometimes, it's my biggest mistake is to eat until I feel better. And I do that sometimes because I feel low and crappy way beyond when I actually am. How did you get multiple kits? That's a very tricky question too. I've kept most of them. I've also found a source now where it's a bit of an underground. I'd be happy to share if you want more information. I got to do this quickly. And did you put the mini shots in a pen fill to inject it? Nope. I'm going to keep it in the vial, and now it's, mixed. I'm going to keep it in the vial. I have my syringes, and what I did last week is I drew up, just like I would from an insulin vial, I drew up my 10 to 15, 20 units, whatever, and I kind of did an IM shot, just meaning I just put it right into my thigh muscle. That's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I hope everybody's being safe and behaving themselves. Bye.